Mamensha Asemfen free UEFA Nations League final ni beto Nyame adoma Sunday between Portugal and Spain. If it is a UEFA for introduce sa competition way a UEFA Nations League no. 7 years man ye. And sa 7 years no only 3 countries and etimi win sa UEFA Nations League no. Jodi can win ye no na Portugal. Second team and winning UEFA Nations League na France. And the third team Omaya friend is Spain. So UEFA for introduce sa competition way no. Only 3 countries and etimi win sa tournament we be. Between Spain and Portugal, one yami aduma echina obe winning no. Not say we winning sa competition way for the second time. Because 2 countries ni nyina no obi winning baako. Enti wa be winning yami aduma echina no. Ona say ye beka say UEFA Nations League no. Why most successful nation e was sa competition way. Kwaku Portugal and Spain e was long history between these 2 countries. Eba politics a omo history kese wo ho. Eba football mususu omo history kese wo ho a date way back in 1921. A omo ball omo first official game. And as our rivalry in sa history na wo ho between Spain and Portugal. By 2 countries we no omo sia na Spain dominate Portugal for ne dodo. Because since 1921 ebesi ne no 40 times as Spain and Portugal Asia no. Spain etime win mu 17. Portugal manage win 6 and mu 17 biem abo draw. In terms of goals, Spain at the ball nko baako 77 and ato Portugal tenem. And Portugal for so the goals 45 and ato Spain at tenem. Even the last time mpokra ehun say Portugal Spain kwaku ache. That was 2010. I almost saw 4-0 na a friendly game. So from 2010 Portugal ain't mean Spain be. And historically, between these 2 nations, omusia na Spain for no dominate Portugal for no. That's the reason why oko Spain for campa omu gini say once omu Portugal no be shi omu nko ade. Omu osa history no wo ho say omu sia Portugal bia na omu dominate Portugal enya good results. Enti ma Spain for no some certain level of confidence we say nyame aduma china ombe she Portugal win this game we. By kwaku se ode no kra ka sempa in terms of individual qualities Spain for no entwe Portugal for musa men card your team uyi individual qualities se uyi player we say the player we say in terms of quality Spain for no entwe Portugal for nim sa because ye ka individual quality o per country back wo Europe eba individual quality omo enough talent, more quality our national team camper. Portugal eka hubi. Enti check your from omo goalkeeper Diego Costa, one of the best abenya ewo Europe or Portugal national team camp. Omo Nelson Semedo, our the right side of defense. Omo inform Nuno Mendes, our the left side, arguably one of the best left backs at this season. This season, ewo Europe and a Riasi at large. So what omo center pair wa Ruben Diaz quality ewo ho, Gonzalo Inacio individual quality over ho. Check Portugal for midfield they say chromo and the kind of materials and quality of Portugal midfield. A yet country or Bernardo Silva, or Vitinha, or Bruno Fernandes, or Joao Neves. These are top midfielders are individual qualities. Now what's right? Say omu kosia Spain who expected say Portugal midfield no. Ebeti show class. Na check your final third no. And in terms of individual qualities, who say compare Spain. Now we share a team of friends at Portugal. Opien will bet my convince me say individual quality in Spain for an Ebro Portugal for so because kweku sa oche Spain in pokra omu team na wo na Unai Simon onye goalkeeper bet my catch me say obro Diego Costa so omechire ho no Dean House mo no omo Ruben Dias mo so in the midfield Spain ewo obi te say Merino or Zubimendi or Pedri mo. These are top midfielders, are technical ability in also. But when they compare Portugal for now, gap in emunche. And in terms of individual materials, Metmakacho say Portugal will be, Spain will be. By the difference between Portugal and Spain, the Spain team no successful omo winning matches omo ji Euros ni nan say Spain team na wo say no the flexibility in omo approach the flexibility in omo system and omo nyina ba together players need to me bo performing and omo to me get the best out of them and yes Spain for no players are omo dem bo no extraordinary. So what check Spain ne France in poker game na course na check it between these two countries. Who say though Oma qualified to the final stage, by now Omo modern bono and bro France for no so sa. At the time of France this Spain share you know. Now we check France modern bo, now check Spain modern bar. Now individual qualities they say France for obi. By the amount Spain Omo perform Omo come in no. The flexibility in Omo system and Omo approach. So flexibility no bring the best out of Omo players and making sure say Omo timi bo as a collective body, as a collective unit. No many results Omo pay by individual materials. Spain for nim Portugal for nim sa. So may expect Portugal for say nyame ya do mechina. Omo me a good performance ah. Omo so ebe show say Omo sa individual materials Omo ko share Spain ah. Omo nsuru. Kwaku yenye education kakra bi wa hase. Unse football na ye bon de bia betina hase a ye kira de kakra. Ye frɛ bi say phases of play e wo football mu. Ye ka phases of player e period a game na ekoso a characterized by in possession and out possession. Then transition between the two. It is a football ni ye bon na it is a merry go round. Ekwa na etwa ne ho e circle. Enti se unkrabo a ukrabo ulusuba u defend se ukrabo a u attack sa na football na koye enti se anye eya aye bi enti time bia no football ni twa ne ho eno na football ye ka ne se eye phases of play se over the Spanish national team a oma hoden pa in terms of the phases of play no eye so omukrabo na omu attack ene ye Spain for hoden enti se ukosia Spain national team na. And I'm say more technical players, or more players, or more ball skills, more through players, or mutimi crab ball, or mutimi pass very well, or more position, or mutimi receive ball, a control ball. No, say or more crab ball na, a ya na edni. So bet me ajebo ne from unsem, and also a dominating Spain. And to Spain na one den kesia ba kopano, in possession. Say Spain for ni e crab ball. Oma one den ba ko esa toso no. And I'm say Spain for no players are, or mutimi breaking lines. Omutimi ma supplies, omutimi distributing, omutimi creating into no. Eya omu winning ball says here, eya omu transition no. Eya na eya quick because omu runners. Nico Williams eya runner, Lamine Yamal eya runner. And to say omu winning ball na sa attacking transition no. Omu ya strong. So any national team bia wakwa face Spain bia no. Spain na ho din ye bienu. Eya in possession and eya transition to attack and eya Spain for ho din. So Portugal for no mo kwa Spain no. The first thing I will say, anytime be a Spain a crab piano, a na Spain 4%, Pedro Porro, and a Kukureya no mere right back and left back respectively. No, time piano or more acting as flying fullbacks. Football, yaka flying fullbacker, a fullbacker or patrol wing so or konenim no asaba nechi enti intenten no otimiko otimiba, omni can say omi a flying fullback. Pedro Porro and a Kukureya that type. The moment as our two players na ebesha asese omo be act as flying fullbacks no that moment na o expect Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams say omo move inside because Spain for nankasa team no say no in terms of a typical number 9 omo boss presence no omo nche ni saade ni bi wo ho say and anytime be a Pedro Porro ni Kukureya be join attack omo be act as flying fullback no na then when we say Lamine Yamal ni Nico move inside. A tournament pokras are two players, no, omutimi inverted, now oma underlap to get control in the midfield. So Portugal 4% almost stop Spain national team. The first thing you need to do is to pin the fullbacks of Spain players, no, Pedro Porro and Kukureya. Se opinion man, ube you so wingers, no, meaning the obesha asiediama Portugal. Se beye Jota be operate on the rings, Rafali obe operate, Consasa obeba. Sa players on bebo on beye wingers ediama Portugal no e was Roberto Martinez e mo pini Spain for fullbacks se opinion ma omo ntimi join attack ni bebre omo ntimi invert mo benya control e limit team e friend say Spain omo control ana omo offensive third no omo nye a lot of numbers one limit omo se we take Spain for na Abranti a ono no ye friend Lamine Yamal ana Nico Williams. These are the two most dangerous players over the Spanish national team. And then nyame adu mechina me pe the battle between Nuno Mendes and Lamine Yamal.
Eno de obi e twen
on say this season Nuno Mendes wingers akese ni na wa stop yomo including Mohamed Salah and to be on say Nuno Mendes no omo ye right wingers no wa stop yomo nyina aka akra na ye friend say pese di nyo Lami Yamal ana Lami Yamal so eche left backs akese na ogu omani ma ase
very simple Italy for ankese for kra no de
ayomo.
But a very interesting battle.
No,
Nuno Mendes,
Lami Yamal.
Why they be winning battle?
When they be winning a battle?
No. Come out say Portugal for wingers and omu pinion fence Pedro Porra. Who leave Lami Yamal 1v1 versus Nuno Mendes without helper. One creative problems in man Nuno na.
So a hono na Obama one of midfielders no. Ama Nuno Mendes defensive cover. Okay. So them on say oka sa o ma winger no. Aba be kan Nuno Mendes one e kire say Spain for fullbacks ni benya that space on benya that liberty to move around
exactly
na o ma create final third overload no enti say opinion o ma o mo ntimi mbo mani bebre and at the same time o say Nuno Mendes onye obi obe support no mo timi stop Lami Yamal. On say in football, the normal way of marking out a player is 1v1. By the moment they be 2v1, 3v1, no, ill-fitting marking. Ill-fitting marking in football is abnormal way of marking out a player. So mostly teams ni be brena kushia Lami Yamal. Omo use ill-fitting marking. Ubo 3v1, not 3 players na Lami Yamal. So background no stubborn.
Still no enfa.
Enti ni friend person di nya no.
Still no.
Opa players for the obeya no be.
Inter Milan decided so be twitwa no so still enfa.
Enti sa oni Nuno Mendes battle no nyame adum echina ye pashe
and a big games akwa we
otimi bo
or per big games
ana Nuno Mendes nso big games otimi bo Nuno Mendes big games ni nyina no wache wingers na shombotom ana Lami Yamal big games ni nyina so no wagu defenders n'anim ase
but we dey ebeye de pa
and
Mendes
another
so ye Dembele why ye nkofo
and another battle aye the midfield. I have seen was a Portugal for Sunya Kukodro, Merino, Zubimendi Nebebo, Pedrimo. Say Gavi Beshas, you mean your Beshas.
You need say Fabian Ruiz be available there.
Fabian Ruiz subet Mashas here. One say Spain for midfielders, no. Dear Bomo Pano, dear Momunya balance, no. Omutimi interchange position.
Very well.
So we interchange position born on bebo and one on bebo. Any kind of dynamic balance in the midfield. And as so be the original positioner. Omunya balance no ewo ho na static balance ana in terms of air horizontal balance and vertical balance in fin on betima ye on be kura ball on be change direction on be breaking lines on be distribute oti ase on betima ye saade no Portugal so equally players on betima ye the same thing.
So the old children just Spain for midfield no omutimi individual omutimi rotate positions no
still now
obesa no na no me say Pedri Only became a renew almost we say 8 and 10. Yeah. 8 and 10 at any point in time. Still on UEFA.
Still never.
That's a Portugal will be.
And no near some say what's a Portugal so sunya sa kukudron because say Joao Neves, Bruno Fernandes, Vitinha, Bernardo Silva. These are midfielders are technically almost also. Vitinha bet my control game no and the amount. Okra there, Spain midfielders now Portugal midfielders now. Portugal a prime mover. Obi o critic kesi pa cross in Spain for in the shape of Bruno.
Exactly. 10 what
in terms of creativity Bruno also.
Yeah. I want number 10.
I want number 10 rule. Enti sanka ucha Portugal midfielders na. E was some sunya akukudro tu mu krabo ni bi. No mutimi bo. And another battle e be hu onfinfin ho no. E the Pedri Vitinha battle. Onsafu we say comparison no ho. Why an team dominating game on finfin. Vitinha and Pedri. Ye be hu say battle no ho. But a game ba kwa me won say the obe win no. Wa be dominating finfin no be win.
Who say Portugal be concede the possession the ama Spain for no ana.
And na me so me because okay Portugal any Germany first half na. First half no Portugal concede possession them Germany for and we decide say o di yembe gu akiri yen defend deep. Na yembo long boss no say Ronaldo any sa hoden no de betru mirika ni bebre e te say enka ni Ronaldo first now obo Ronaldo one top now obo high balls now per counter Ronaldo wo power or energy or pace acceleration level was so obetima kofa by say Ronaldo no ontimi nya sa de no enti say Portugal fo obetima ma Ronaldo on say Ronaldo no on expect Ronaldo nkani Ronaldo ni bi by a seti obeshaw opusu nya kan seti obeshaw ana tournament won na ashe goals kese pawo enti wo so musu timi biem ekura ball ni bi omo ne Germany ni hwe second half ball na ombebo ye no at the time Konsasawo any Vitinha be mu no omo de omo nsa beto Germany for so ho ne hu say Portugal for sha say omo attack omo create omo nya runners omo nya movement no ho enti wo so musu so biem enti kwaku eye game ba ko no kure wo mpa ne ye say me who Portugal so betima she go. The same thing applies to Spain. And to both team to score most likely more than 2 goals betima play game we mu.
More than 2 goals.
Yes. Okay. Both team to score you very likely. Portugal capable so be Spain capable so both team to score. The original ebe determine who be dominated the midfield.
Okay.
By Spain for no anytime you be share Portugal minim de wo ho. No more and your monster to Portugal for so psychologically on say your stories now Spain for neka say Portugal for no cost rubber for better because historically from 1921 omuche Portugal bia omuche Portugal the last time a Portugal chase Spain was in 2010 omunti min show mo by looking to score most likely over 1.5 2.5 over 2 my member transfers no so ntem na big so enfambra kwaku say unim Stellar Agency Stellar Agency eho ana mamu hyewo Kamavinga wo Konate wo what the kan at story no ho sa Stellar Agency ho no eho ana Fermin Lopez of Barcelona ewo na Stellar Agency for ne call Barcelona so ye say ba say teams ne tata ye dodo bebre na ba say omo pe Fermin Lopez Inter for the omo di aba AC for the omo di aba Bayern for the omo di aba teams ne tata ye say omo pe Fermin Lopez na latest abeka ho ne ye Chelsea bo boku no Chelsea for no so say omo pe Fermin Lopez o na sa komodidie ne koswa no onim say super agent Pini Zahavi ehase so Chelsea for contact Pini Zahavi ana omo ka che ne say omakra na kra na ye fani nkuku no ompese omu ja ne kwan ana Pini Zahavi so work say obema nkuku enye top team na wabo UEFA Champions League next season a team omo bo attacking football and so one say ya link nkuku to Bayern Bebrea e Pini Zahavi ana yes ade no ana Pini Zahavi so a good relationship with Juan Laporta na down for pano no even at the time mpokura Pini Zahavi e baba e ware ye Juan Laporta okoda afie ho eye adwuma ta Pini Zahavi echi e Pini Zahavi ana de Lewandowski buy na nka Lewandowski opportunity so be teams kese Pini Zahavi ndi babasa Hansi Flick e ono a enti na Pini Zahavi person using the relationship with on Barcelona for no enti anka nkuku embra Barcelona na Fermin Lopez enko Chelsea eno na Barcelona for no hwel na Pini Zahavi pa nkuku oya de ba ye hia no Fermin Lopez no oye project no so ye nton no enti omo reject sa swap deal say nkuku mbra Barcelona na Fermin Lopez enko Chelsea no ana Chelsea ka say omo mpe nkuku dia na ska na omo pa onim say kwaku Chelsea sa offer 75 million euros
no meti sansem na chima adwen so pass
after Barcelona rejecting nkuku Fermin Lopez swap no ana Chelsea say mo mpe nkuku na mo peska ene ye the 75 million euros ebre mo because Enzo Maresca say ope Fermin Lopez ene so Barcelona rejecting na kwaku nim die ehu pa after sa the course no Juan Laporta ne Hansi Flick hia Juan Laporta kwaku die meteye no Juan Laporta say Fermin Lopez no say crazy amount ba umbetimeja no
Kwame me feel say Basa 70 SS moton Fermin Lopez
adai
Kwame onye starter o Basa so uzi obi onye starter o team ni no so be offer 70 million say dango na just opposition aboso
by who said the last time Hansi Flick say we Lamine mo ni Rafi obi in opposition oh
any day
or
kanokwa but because coming obi on your starter na obi the 70 million aba you take it They are equally good guys. Say Barcelona and Kwana and Mombeti me promote to Omaba. Me he's a good player, but
swap no there be.
They will swap it there.
75 million euros in swap there be. But one Laporta say crazy amount be bar.
Crazy ni den. 70 crazy. Kwame na me.
They maybe say opebe 100 million euros about. Enti kwaku de eba no. Goalkeeper Donnarumma situation emu ayeden.
Kwame.
Still na the PSG for person renew the contract. Na omone Enzo Raiola etwetwe nkomo no. Donnarumma say equally also very important to PSG. Na UEFA Champions League na PSG koje no. Most especially knockout stage no. No Donnarumma ni key. Ana mo je ye. Enti opeso beka the highest paid players e wo PSG bobu konim. On say currently Mbappe free PSG no. Drodis kakese paye Dembele 80 million euros. Na Kvaratskhelia tosu mienu, Marquinhos tosu miensa, Hakimi Ashraf tosu, ana Lucas Hernandez. Na yese de she Donnarumma cry Lucas Hernandez no. Lucas Hernandez edge 13.2. Ana Donnarumma edge 12.7. Into a person beka the highest paid players no. Team my friend say PSG for so omon pese omo besa ama omo salary structure no asa say. Into omo ni negotiate entimin siye. Onim say already yedi kia ba beka Inter de no, ya beka Juventus de no. Onim say Bayern e de omo ho agim. Bayern for Donnarumma. Bayern e wo goalkeeping issue. Enche bi ama no ya de ontimi count on him anymore. Enti Donnarumma Bayern e latest team awaba. Officially, Rafael Leao a communicate actually AC Milan for say opeso free o. Now yes story no. Rafael Leao wa money agents no aka actually AC Milan for say opeso free bobu konim. On next season, AC Milan enko Europe, a domestic competition in Kwanobebo. Ana Rafael Leao will contract to 2028. Our release clause of 175 million euros. Team bien why ready so bet you our release clause no. Now Bayern for airpen. Kwaku ni Bayern for offer no. AC Milan for Mas Allegri say omu keep bowi. Or person top players ni no omu keep no AC Milan. Because omu keep omu top players na enebema ometimi qualify ba next season. And I said the following season be. Now, AC for someone say Accra we were stone. Rafael Leao no. Waka so obeko no ma na nkwa na ma netina obe hadwen. Ento ma catch Bayern for say Bayern for will guarantee fee of 70 million euros. Pay can enye installment. Enye si etue bi ejabi. Some the 70 million euros ni nyina ba on betima ma Rafael Leao akọ. Na Bayern for decide say 70 ni de omunya. Na nkomo di 50 na kwaku 50 no amede beko no 3 players AC Milan ni baako enti Bayern decide say omo di 50 million euros Kingsley Coman Kim omo center back no
Kim Injai
ana Leon Goretzka enti 50 million ana 3 players no AC enyi baako
Kwame Mpacho then course we AC Milan side because Setijani Rendes o ton 70 million euros and then now budget 70 for Rafael Leao.
Say boy ne pressure man team ya so nya ready say
Kwame Leao there so what Setijani Rendes 70 o say Leao no because we release clause of 150 in this a better so kra no be 80 90 bi there o say we
no ya adwen
what I say ayefo ama mi bi
ayefo say boy na nkasa onso kra no so
also performance na
ayi bi ho ho dia kan ma me bosso okay Emerick Laporte former Manchester City defender no ayi say okọ El Nassr no opeso free bobu konim
omo na epamo no
ono so peso free na El Nassr for so peso omo eja ne kwan na omo to no 23.6 million pounds for Man City me na wo ka say Napoli Antonio Conte ese ope Emerick Laporte on say next season Champions League no Napoli peso omo hye De Bruyne ye o hwa say no omo pe Emerick Laporte we chiro El Nassr for say Napoli betua 23 million pounds for Emerick Laporte Marcel ewombi Galatasaray na Fenerbahce omu nyina pa brante no Monaco for right back bi oye Ivory Coast ni your friend Winfred Zingo na akra no omo kofa ni from Torino obai 2 seasons ni yese owo energy owo power no owo pace oye right back wa be perform very well ewo Monaco Arsenal for abawrem so omo pe Winfred Zingo onso already Arsenal right back no mo Timber and omo Ben White ba say injuries timiba ana omusu problem prache enti Arsenal Arteta ni mpanyimfo he say Winfred Zingo of Monaco on betimenya no ebo no 25 million euros and ye say betimaba me no ka say 8 players be breaking them out last week we say Barca person mo ton 8 players no no mo raise 30 million euros sa 8 players na Christians in wom me no ka say on say medical ye America Laporta el nasa person mo ja no kwan say el nasa eja America Laporta kwan a o me decide so be call Barcelona kofa Christiansen e de naba a o mu kura be 15 million euros Barca for ne says can bomb beje because when a full profit Christiansen by free. And to say, I'll answer the 50 million euros ever for Christians in Ombeji. And it's a period no ban, it's a season, so Barca for a free power.
It's that time.
Frank say, nay free. Hector Beare, nay free. Marcos Alonso, nay free. And a Christians in free. And to Barca say, I'll answer for the 50 million euros neba. Ombeji no maton. John Stones, a city centre back. A few way Ankoye. Ruben Diaz. Oshe players a hodwo. Nathan Akeni Akandia. And no, and a Man City, yes, on the centre back. Omo ko Barcelona yes omo ko pepa ukubasi Barca for abom return me no wo ka say wa wuti Manchester City for Bastoni from Inter Milan
oni de emre bi o se pep crack then akasa o fili no
Barca the ball so no oye ball playing center back yes Inter is say no Man City for Bastoni and so etimi aba me no wo ka say Fenerbahce for management e wo England na management no e yempanyimfo mienu na abepie mo England Hamdi Akin Anna Mario dos Santos almost sporting director Omo ba be Manchester United for Sancho Fenerbahce mpanyimfo abepie mo England say see e mpanyimfo mienu Mario dos Santos a ono sporting director Anna Hamdi Akin or vice president de Fenerbahce
am say Jose no onye na adwen so beje league no
ti
na Galatasaray players o muto e o pe player ne Galatasaray compete as Sancho.
Enti ese mpanyimfo na bepiem. On be negotiate for Sancho for Fenerbahce. Said the other two and Liverpool ni Florian Wirtz there no. Say the third offer no, the ekeka kono Liverpool sim for abesom. Se bibia to Toma next week Florian Wirtz back when medical dem Liverpool.
Kwame omun someone na.
Oh, package.
Also pay 150. Now also the 130 aba onso.
On say it's kind of open no. Okika bibia ne bonuses ni boma na the back euros say 150 million euros no. Liverpool had bid they drew 150 million euros. By the end Liverpool sin for ne penny guarantee fee no more per 150. By the Liverpool for the akika hu ni na man here 150. By the meeting say said the third bid ne die. Liverpool sin for ne ya so ma bibia to ma next week asem that the aba e the ama Liverpoolians no next week bibia am be boma Florian Wirtz betima koye ne medicals senior man Eden Zeku 39 good years die or da so si akan this season pokra no or say 21 goals dem Fenerbahce Bologna aberem so mo pe Eden Zeku Bologna pe Eden Zeku 39 good years or so ye fit to betime si akan at the highest level enti Bologna for her so betime nya Eden Zeku ne contract be wie June 30th ya menya sure say Fenerbahce for be renew enti Bologna for say omo pe Eden Zeku so you mean Kwaku was still loyal to Spurs in penny for say omu nsi ne kwan so ka so obekwa Saudi for no any CAA base limited e din komo for so you mean na Kwaku dia meti na no penny ye say Inter Milan ni AC Milan ni so approach Son Heung-min no Inter any AC omu nyina approach Son Heung-min say Spurs no say ontimi embo biema ombra Italy no besi akan ewo ho Liverpool simfo aka kire Inter Milan for AC Milan for say Granit Xhaka 50 million euros AC Milan asa approach Granit Xhaka na nim say AC Milan enkokrafo team no mpese omote dia by Mas Allegri or see your experienced players ewo AC Milan anoma approach Leverkusen make for the Granit Xhaka after so free Arsenal call Leverkusen no wa perform very well enti AC Milan for so omo no Leverkusen for 50 million euros on first canembra no mo mba mbe fanti Kwaku transfers in the bebre na wa
say for my dream bebre say Liverpool for mo se muntie sika and Liverpool for yen spend it say Leverkusen for say am Liverpool betua 150 million hey you say oh
they say
the boy na get in the salary kura no over 300
and na Manchester City twi omo ho no
hi
because it's kana Bayern atwe omo ho. Man City an pa atwe omo ho by Liverpool for say we die killer betua
150.
Say first na Liverpool for say killer
betua. 130 and third bid na
yes, third bid na be
which is close to 150 million.
150
plus wages over 300,000.
Ansa na ne papa beje ne dansha miao. Ne ma me beje ne dansha miao.
Aha. Liverpool for big.
Yeah, we dey killer betua.
Killer
betua. You see our football business, you know. So you look at the kind of quality a player Nikita. Now, wash your team new project our person here. No what be saying was a quality now player Nikita na bebo na. Say bebo you cough out the money now they are for player na because football market you know. I say ya na say ye ne a check. And a name as say players be one man looking at the kind of ball or more money or more value, you know. They put some sort of sikabi on them. I never was to be bredo. But that is football for you, and things are changing. Kwaku, UEFA Nations League, you know, Spain and Portugal Bobokoni in the finals. Me share name me no be penny me movie on. So your coach, tell Roberto Martinez. Now said there's a lot of pressure on you. Now Kwaku see Spain national team. You don't start the game like you started against Germany. Debbie. I have one mistake in this coach Roberto Martinez here. I am saying this because there is a lot of pressure on the coach. A lot of pressure. Oh, papa no so. Omufi you say heroes no more than one conquer. And no ya pardon. Say ya pardon wa at least UEFA Nations League nim dey say oye bibia bro adwene ntiase so. Na yenya sa gidie no wo mu say obetimi aboa yen e de yakobo sha asase ne so. The game against Germany he didn't start well. But the German team nankasa so performance akwa ye bibia wo. Because so our quality midfielders wo team ni mu. Now our right back some ye good wo hono ma. Kwaku minim die ntiase say the midfielder. We prove beyond reasonable doubt in the just ended season. So you're one of the best midfielders ever about the right back position. The game against Germany, or starting player friend said Joao Neves as a right back. Minim agreeing to a man taking that particular decision. But in football, there are certain players you more makeshift role, and there are certain players come command a makeshift role because in the position now, Obono, so you're the best. He's one of the best. How many Ginas are in the position now performing better than Mao? Oh, Nelson Semedo. Oh, Diago Dallo. And so. Vitinha Joao Neves partnership. Finfi this season. One of the best in Europe, if not the best. And Kwadana Baba Benyanti ase. Mumi Nuntemwa. From Paris Saint-Germain. Why you fortunate say when your coach are building these two players and so the amount. Bruno Fernandes ni team our boy Manchester United in Poniaman Konkaino. Kwaku ye season no Premier League ni mu. He was one of the best midfielders. Manchester United team he was the best player. In Europa League no boy no. He was one of the best players Europa League ni mu. Now you no and to so Gina Mranti ni mienu anim no. Portugal team ni set, team ni done. No matter the kind of midfield, Spain de baba be shaw. Unya Mranti miensa we won finfi on the day. And they might be conquering the amount. But against Germany, or the Joao Neves cock the right back, and or benchy Vitinha. Game is a sign about changes in the second half. But the Spanish national team, so when you have a good start against them, you are going to be laughing at the wrong side of your mouth. And the idea about coach Roberto Martinez, editing the team going into this final. But I still believe that Lamine Yamal mobile, I am mobile this season. Nico Williams, some more performance. I am also more dynamic this season, both for the national team and then their club football. I believe the Spain national team, no, especially in the attack with these two guys, there was so much quality to devour any form of defense. It is going to be a very good game. I am here, but I feel at the end of the day, Spain national team never for the ultimate. Looking at the collective effort of the Spanish national team, I'm who from Omo. Kwaku UEFA Nations League, you know, actually, am I make us say a better view or perception about certain players. You who say clubs be kwa pelmo. Semi-final na here, you know. Players be one man, clubs be at home one. A lot of the supporters the teams the chimpon. Bia team no more attention into omo nche dan here omo. Mamemfa Dinhouse as an example. The performance or dynamic for the Spanish national team. Kwaku against team. Omo share in the semi-final stage. France. How he handled the attack of the French national team. Actually honum. Now there's almost a central defender they put your foot wrong. Almost everything he did in the game was perfect. The movement, especially with the ball. Real Madrid supporter be sure send anybody because Real Madrid in the just ended season. One of the problems almost facing here by almost central defense. Rudiger or Honman kaka. But in the absence of Rudiger, now it's extremely difficult for Mubenya players to make me hold the fort. And so the Amomo, it is already in housing a performance or dying at Spain. How good, especially he carried balls from a Chirihonum whenever he was in possession. Apart from timely interventions and blocks, were Chiriho, and so the Spanish national team. The long balls, how to stretch defense with long balls, and you defend the behind him side the long balls of boy was on point. 100% long balls. Apart from draw be a branch and you be our winner. Say yes, say yes, form. Now, add this over for balls. It is all here now. When you bet with the kind of performance or dynasty, and so the Spanish national team. Oh, you are only free one more. Another player, and so you are Ryan Cherki. Koku, it is rumored that Manchester City power branch your friend say Ryan Cherki. Yes. Now you didn't come to see. Now on the Kwame. The idea Manchester City trainer if you Florian Wirtz do ni mo sika. Ora Florian Wirtz more than our he's giving you to at least 2 years of consistency. Last 2 seasons, any league year we last season yeah. Idea Manchester City best player no because or a midfielder or more goals as and more assist. In terms of creativity he's there. In terms of goal scoring he's there. Manchester City Lucy Kevin De Bruyne. Omo be pay obi or not so much that kind of numbers. Manchester City this season, Kevin De Bruyne was one of the reasons in the other City team in Koye. And yes, all a bad player. But the prime Kevin De Bruyne and I in the past for Manchester City. How was he dictating games? Edema Manchester City bobo no. Last season, the year hunesa. Your both season new year no. The more money bad. And some from Manchester City bobo no. But De Bruyne and I no only scored 4 goals and assisted 7. But in the past, Ubu Kevin De Bruyne Obama numbers are changing. If the City decided say Kevin De Bruyne Kodia, I was so new be no so man numbers when it comes to assist any goals. No, this our play and anything. Eba be sheho. And we decided to make kwa for Wirtz. Wirtz about 31 games that Bayer Leverkusen. Or share 10 goals and assisted 12 times for Bayer Leverkusen. It is good for such a midfielder in the Bundesliga and in the modern war done for the past 2 years. But Nisikane was so. If Manchester City decided to watch no, so City they have to go for another player or not so the more slow. But they be a relatively obey cheaper their chain vets. It is rumored to play a friend is Ryan Cherki. Nisika Manchester City they bet around 25 million euros to 30 million euros. Koku, even if any bonuses ebe carbon na kwa could do 50, it is a very good buy. Make away because UEFA Nations League na boy no. Obi o hwe bibia hu abrante any performance. And into the make say there are players omo be po obi a ebi omo teams pe omo no omo supporters impo any opportunity here as our players no. The French national team baller no omo the Spanish national team obo no. He came from the bench about 27 minutes. But 27 minutes no be boy Kwaku. To me he was the difference maker. In 27 minutes abrante ani ba be ye ade na Manchester City pe no e de kire omo se sa ade no nim ye e goals ni assist. Obeche Bako and or assist Bako for the French national team. He was one of the reasons in Tianiamasa Sunday French national team no are the dying members of the game. Ne dribbles, ne passes. Almost everything I know you won't think for the team was on point. And all the total Florian Wirtz in the just ended season or the French League Kwaku on also bought 30 games. Or she 8 goals and or assist 11. Our French League animal. It would in the numbers to Florian Wirtz the any one. Why not Florian Wirtz? Now Kokonya Brantia, your friend Ryan Cherki. It is a very good deal for team my friend Manchester City. And I believe it's a quality now Brantia in the chair this season. And I say in the just ended season. Any performance our dynasty, UEFA Nations League, you know. Clearly, Brantia actually say he's a quality player. Near Manchester City here. From a midfielder, Obabe replacing Kevin De Bruyne. And you goals any assist, no? In just 27 minutes for the French national team. The debut game at the France, no? Obabe chere or park so. And Manchester City in them, no more first can conquer far brand, no? Because the numbers he gave last season, and as a season here, it was better than every Manchester City midfielder in the English Premier League.
Only one ball, but questions and I'm for raising about any attitude. So attitude problem. Then the star now quite say Benafa.
Yeah.
Talent.
Benafa.
Talent. The obeying him so talent. But
yes.
Attitude would be. I don't know as I'm for raising issues. Kakra, but sikane the form. But talents, any attitude, the city for looks like probably the open.
Yeah.
You know. Affect city ana.
Adia ba ko ne say ho. Player betimi a wo manager we nchen. No hard dwene pa or disrespectful pa. But we move to another club and another manager nsem na niema asesa na se player na asesa.
Okay.
Etoda based on nipa na on ne year adwuma, based on the surroundings, based on the happenings e wo honom no, e ma player timi dan suban bi adi. One of the players are in football history obi abeka ne say no hard dwene pa. Mario Bewa Balotelli din beba otirim.
Okay.
But omo munim Balotelli. Omo munim Arsene Wenger. Almost anytime there were problems, Arsene Wenger and coach Balotelli. But ofafo no offer Balotelli no ne kasape akwala ne sesa na adwene. Based on the kind of respect our papa if they say Arsene Wenger. And I believe say they've been coaches who handle players na adwene. But at the end of the day they move into different clubs. They get a very good relationship or rapport with coach Okwa Juma nsem and players and stars. I make us a coach a friend say Pep Guardiola. I handle no. I don't see at the country was a Ryan Sheki a problem. And my papa a friend say Pep Guardiola. Obeti a handle no. Now at the end of the day, they here will play any mupa. The quality or the park and so no. Where you saw the no and you fast forward the film. And I think it is going to be a very good buy for Manchester City. Bobo Kono to Kwaku. Rafael Leao. Finally. When you inform me AC Milan and Penny for say obepeso will be free team nim. Na we will be out the football echi. Now nim Rafael Leao. Menya sure say we be on wanwa. Enyo wanwa because nipa bia si so na obobra. Obia obabi opeso ode na bra bokokoju ene de opeso oye wa brabom. It's based on the nipa peso oye. Within the next 1 year, within the next 2 years, next 3 years. Now I decided say no be taking decisions. I didn't be bang say dey no person wey wa brabom next 2 and after 3 years no. Ade ba ko aye dey football mu pa. Ani say okwa PA manager you ready so no be adwuma nsem. Player friend say Rafael Leao. The new manager who has taken over AC Milan in the shape of Maximiliano Allegri. Any player na pa e we talent Serie A animal. On performance a what dinedy e dey ama AC Milan bobo no enti manager ne step here foot in the club no on him penny for akaso so fa kwan bia so no mun keep branch e friend say Rafael Leao because he feels he has the quality a obetimi dey abo no enti nke be de some manager we a lot of trust e wo mu owo gidie bebre wo mu enka obetena kwaku na onimienu aye adwuma bom na mfa so abade ama AC Milan bobo no but Rafael Leao as a player for the past 3 seasons, another season of stepping a foot with AC Milan, sign on the performance in the city. Last 2 seasons, AC Milan, Abrantiano about 35 games, and share 15 goals, and the AC no 68 times. League anymore. The performance has been the good performance from a winger and as a forward line player. In 2024 league, I boy about 33 games, and share 9 goals, and 69. Another consistent performance. In the just ended season, about 34, Oshe 8, and or 68. It's at least for the past 3 seasons there. Anytime I ever season in the Italian Serie A animal, amount double figure goal contribution. O can he goes in assist Bumwa until he's a top performer. But Robert person can go see Ocean. There are certain trophies and conons by Geneva Buaman in Motimia do. Yashas yes say about Rafael Leao as one of the best forward line players ever football muno. Kwaku enye. But me no me onubaji atom. Say why I expect say Abrante and the ball be do no ntimi nduru ye. It is not only done by the player. Team a wom ka ho. Manager on ne be ye adwuma nso to ka ho. There are certain managers or bring out the best in you. João Neves. Vitinha. Today, your best midfielders will we are say your bom din because some akwa kopie coach bi na ase a. Coach na refining players na man ya ma asesa dia momo. Rafael Leao only these players and we the Portuguese national team. I am sure so much our camper and Emrantia ne treble winners. They've won the Champions League. Respect I more camp crampo be different. The level they have gotten almost status our football mu be different. So Rafael Leao as a player tnase. No rest anema we nyina because you tell Rafael Leao din. Na yan TV Vitinha mu din. Ni anti Jao never simudin. But to the Oma Baba Champions League winners are any certain status the level of football more. May assure Sa Quadan and Sobepeso be movie. Now at least Obeko into a club or Sha project na air cosono and never do the level of Peso Drew. Uji and only free one more. AC Milan air build project, yes, but time ben never swaba. Even look at the players at AC Milan, yet almost in time. Or for Luka Modric, you and why no Quaquapeno, or Copa Granit Chaka. Is this a project I wait to me now to slow womb? So within the next 2-3 years, and after 5 years, also Baba a Champions League winner nibi. Now your back as if only deal with football my bodiana. To me, it is a no. And I feel that these are some of the reasons in here. Rafael Leao Bepeso be moving on because he feels on that platform in a bigger club than AC Milan. AC Milan is a very big club, no doubt about it. But in recent times, quite more fast why money mano and befitting the status they built in the past.
Now, Biggie, Rafael Leao on see Joao Felix Kwani Subiana.
Koku mi hunesa. Yes, I feel say AC Milan team nankasa. In recent times, the Neyman shut down Conkain from Mamo and a Kahuna affected player. No? But even with that, unknown individually, the numbers as a forward line player, Oma, and Nanameka in the just ended season, matches or boy in the 34 games, Oshe 8 goals, 68. And you're bad. And from a forward line player, on your number 9 and answer on your striker. If he's playing his part, he needs a team or not so then the end back home. Nebe peja because numbers we are one make kwaku ebinuma ma numbers are andrew ne de no other clubs mu but are very relevant because of collective achievement with a team ni nyina and on abranti ne tena se no odwene ho a obefi say he has to move on because baby our teno why de say oye bia de amabo boko no at least onye hwe kra no waje Italian Serie A waje Coppa Italia waje Super Coppa Italiana and so ewo ho he has to move on for another opportunity I bet him elevating a career and he's not growing any younger 25 years it's many branch and if he decides to move on at this state kwaku a few managers and it's many omo players any problem na omo solve a problem no abra on my pamu player no and as a player in free team nim na afi omo ye adwuma enya the kind of success omo hwehwe this season sad any BSc enti yen kai kra no nke betimi afa bibi de afrim at least you Osman Dembele and the coach Luis Enrique of Paris Saint-Germain there were problems between these two papa no decided say o my empa mo brante no obe solve problem no obe patch those holes I wo team nim no no why ye player ne ho adwuma omo yes ade no to keep peace pipe no and yema konkama Paris Saint-Germain boboko na today with peace and collaboration omo achieve the Paris Saint-Germain boboko ni see so na achieve that is number 1 number 2 omo achieve ade there is no club in France etimi achieve that by winning the treble and so of France mind him because omo na buy first team of France omo timi a win a continental treble because of peace and it's almost settle omo differences e with team nimo Meka di ababa be see a goalkeeper, your friend Andre ter Stegen, and in the coach. Barcelona, Hansi Flick so. Hansi Flick says here, any player and gonna say goalkeeper and there are issues because of few since a goalkeeper and free injury by no. Goalkeeper ni subaya or dine a dinner sasa. One of the reasons in Tia Kwako Fasa and Komo in Abani say, you see the game against Inter Milan. Goalkeeper no walk straight to the coach, catch a coach and say, only tested him free no more no name conquer go post him. And coming who a player who free injury aba. Ya jitum send now your starter. Ya jitum send now more was so. Ya jitum send now never con kind of out. But a few players the free injury by or buyer no more hitting the ground running. A lot of them. I was so sharp here from ground zero. Unya game time. Now build on consistently now 100% okay to start games or play well for a club. Na coach nanka se hu o performance awo dynedy coach nanka se hu o fitness level coach nanka se hu the status you've got into after say free injury buyer no more opportunity sa fe wura team nim ne kokoda but the stadium buyer no ono na ntwan he felt he was the number 1 and he feels he's a better goalkeeper than Chelsea it's yenyi Chelsea free goal post nim no mbra medem and anya coach ne there
I think said the biggest decision mistake or yeah sa chin am ho atome pese meda
me na pese meda
because I feel say Sen Castel no wan fa say afi na ho atono a nka Barcelona mema na the next season
yes
because be enim the AC but obeda ya mu za ko still no awasa
so
it's no get rush into this whole
and we piano ho ato asemu And I believe say it was totally wrong. And your coach in the show performance. No, if you say injury now, if you are bana, we 100% okay. I'll bet me that go post mudia my. And say your coach in the mouse our opportunity, no, without any form of pressure. And as a duresa, and at this stage you can come where you different. And can one can say nimdientia almost our game time, no, almost our opportunity, no. But you forced for it, and then now Kwakofa win in Adiaba. Clearly, he's a senior player in the Barcelona team too. So coach now had one sort of differences in the year. We've seen a lot of players, or senior players with team. No matter na team, nimna Kwakofa problems, and the other players in the coaches no. Eti baby oma baba beduru no. Omo make sure say opese player na tena asem na aba eni ti na me Osman Dembele de example oni player na tena se oni goalkeeper na tena se no omo ni nkomo na nkomo no omo bedie no omo arrive at a conclusion no omo settle omo differences no omo nya adwuma but enya sa na se coach ni feel say ontimi nsie oni player na ntemu a mo mfa sa ntokwa we nto aso nkonko wura the next season mo because at least kwaku goalkeeper na ye ka ne ho asem no de se o ye ma Barcelona bia wa ye wie. He's won the Champions League for Barcelona. Waje La Liga 6 times. Waje Copa del Rey 6 times. And the test again as a goalkeeper. There is nothing to prove again now Barcelona bobo konim. And this empanyfoni feel say, I'm going to settle the differences between the two. No beba betena, e be problem dia ma Barcelona. So I'm going to settle they are fine. I'm going to settle no to also. But I'm going to the goalkeeper should find his way out because at the end of the day there is nothing again to achieve or fight for. Barcelona bobo konim kwaku. Kakrabi on Victor Osimhen. Osimhen performance are what done do with Europe from the Italian Serie A. Edge the top scorer award. No movie free honum. Aquaquaco Pimo Galatasaray. And in numbers or the Mayeno. Watch consistently he's a good player. Time Napoli did the Italian Serie A. And Victor Osimhen almost striker. He scored 26 goals. And already the top scorer award. The following season. Or share 15 goals and at the man he still gave a double figure. It's clearly consistency here, Juma. Okopimo Galatasaray. Around 30 matches and a brand and boy. Or boss our matches, no. Or share a year 26 goals. Our Turkish league anymore. It's in consistently. We're proving beyond reasonable doubt. Say he's a typical goal poacher, opportunity be open goals, no. Now you do one few say, Anka alternate Europe. No one born a football honor never my brand and irrelevant. But what he has got into clearly or catch say we'll move it to Saudi Arabia there. Then there's nothing to fight for again in football. A lot of these African footballers. Baby one person the ball and go duru nukaku and it's over to me the African best. Victor Osimhen achieve it because he players the performance and heading. Say you be the ballon d'or home common every players in the bum Africa. It is a African best player na opera. What me achieve is hard already. So the stage he has gotten to clearly, Abrantiani Kishiska, 40 million euros a year at this stage of his career. May assure say no one Abrantiani be there. Uya no ni free one man. Striker only ne kwa compete with Al Hilal. And you possible say Mitrovic bet me free. So when free one pono what now, I don't see Mitrovic as a better striker than Victor Osimhen. In the just ended season was Saudi Pro League, you know. Mitrovic has 19 goals. It will league anymore. And the Dema Hilal Bobo. In their competition. A year Champions League nimu or share 6 goals and edema homo. Victor Osimhen for Galatasaray in the Europa League about 7 matches, such as 6 goals. And clearly he's proven beyond reasonable doubt. So Okona Mitrovic or no competing poor. He's a good player. Oh, bet me are competing well. But if he makes this move, it is motivated by nothing but Sika. And at this stage, they also achieve you African or and Victor Osimhen and 18-year-old on your 20 on your 21. The football in quite anymore.
Galatasaray for Nature, Omweja brutal. Almost say si form we betray omo. Galatasaray end tam sika 15 million afe or say player back. Omo go as far so meet chase as Canada amount. Intika onje and now say Victor. Or almost say si form.
Galatasaray in common. So which number be Galatasaray jinana? Only Galatasaray for be agony. But Ujina baby Osimhen so Sujina Unu Osimhen so by agony. Obia wo case. Osimhen the man ye Galatasaray for ni jani ye say. At a point now moment opportunity no. Na ya yes I had the Osimhen be team crampo. E wo Europe. And on man that opportunity in the platform. And they feel say Alisa Jide na enya wo mu no. And can repay us by staying with us. And I'm going to dust room could be the amount because what be boy Juma Pau. So about 30 league matches. Now we share 26 goals. Now be my 65. What boy Juma bro draining tias so. But no kure woman say, "O si me susu ye bibini." De bia me ka say nya ade bia say we bia na e be motivated by sika. That is very true. But o si me baby o gina no. Anything na me tell say the South African football aye no. O si me na di nkan aye dada. And this all decide say on pebium no be move akwa jiska. Me ni problem.
Okay.
Because Osime o ikwagu so onko je Ballon d'Or. African best player na no be pre.
O move for sika.
Baby a waduru ne de okwaji sika na ye. 40 million euros a year. Okuma no kwaje.
Yankwa sika de nye sika kwabra ne